Yeah, I know.
Everybody ready?
Whenever you need.
Everybody ready now? Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out and spending some time with us this evening. With that, we will stand and we will have our invocation by Pastor Williams, and we will follow that by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Most gracious God, first of all, let us just give you thanks for all the wonderful things you have done, all the great things you have done for the city of High Springs. And God, we just pray a special prayer for these commissioners on tonight, Lord. Just bless us with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Lord, that we'll do what's best for the city of High Springs as a whole. And dear God, as we recognize those that had breast cancer, or even have it at this time, Lord, God, we just have a special prayer for each and every one of them, Lord. Those that have gone on, Lord, and for those that are still yet alive. But God, I definitely want to pray a special prayer for the caretakers, Lord, who deal with them, Lord, who take care of them, Lord. I just pray that you just bless them in a special way, just comfort them, strengthen them. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Respond. Here.
Vice Mayor Evans.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Jones.
Here.
Here.
Thank you. All right, we have the agenda, and we have a change. Under new business, we would need to add item number 5.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to include item number 5, mutual aid agreement with the City of Gainesville Police Department.
Second.
All right, this has been properly moved and second that the agenda be approved with the necessary correction. All those in favor signify by aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Okay, motion carries 5-0. Approval of minutes. September 14th and September 25th commission meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 14th and 25th.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second that both sets of minutes be approved as written. All those in favor, aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Our next item is a proclamation declaring October 23rd through the 29th, 2017 as Florida City Government Week.
Madam Mayor, would you like me to read the proclamation?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. This is a proclamation of the state of Florida, the city of High Springs, whereas October 23rd through the 29th, 2017 has been declared Florida City Government Week. And whereas Florida City Government's Week is a special time to recognize the important role played by the city government in our lives. Whereas Florida City Government Week is a time to spread the word to all citizens of Florida that they are an integral part of the government that is closest to the people. And whereas City Government Week is part of an ongoing effort sponsored by the Florida League of Cities to raise public awareness about the services that cities perform and to educate the public on how city government works. Whereas cities provide a higher level of service than most governments, and yet many residents are unaware of how city services impact their lives. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of High Springs that the week of October 23rd through the 29th, 2017 be proclaimed as Florida City Government Week and encourage all interested citizens to participate in this observance. Passed and adopted this 12th day of October 2017. Signature for yourself, Madam Mayor, Gloria James Mayer, attested by Jenny L. Parham, our city clerk. The appropriate motion is to pass the proclamation of the City of High Springs for Florida City Government Week as read by its entirety.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion, please.
I move that we pass the proclamation for Florida City Government Week. Sorry.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and seconded the proclamation to declare October 23rd through the 29th, 2017 as Florida City Government Week. All those in favor respond with aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, our next item on the agenda is citizens' requests and comments for issues that are not on the agenda. And please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please.
Good afternoon or good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
Commissioners.
Good evening.
One, I wanted to first ask, do you recall a couple weeks ago we had a lady that requested her septic tank, a hole in her yard being
Yes,
looked
I
at?
do remember.
Do you know if that was been taken care of?
I know they went out and take a look at it to see what was going on out there, and I know what it needs to be taken care of.
It will, and just as soon as these grants or these projects are done, that will be part of it.
But the hole's still there.
Yes.
It is covered.
It's covered.
They had a board over it. Second, I guess we're going to be back at talking about the water.
Okay.
The city issued a boil water notice on the 3rd of October. We're now 9 days into it.
9 days.
And I have made requests and emails, and I'm not going to go into it, but I've asked why, and I've been told it's the aquifer. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have a meeting tomorrow with your water experts. And
want to see some right here?
Samples. But you are drinking bottled water.
And?
You are drinking bottled water, and it's probably paid for by the city, for you and for the employees. And there's people all over High Springs that are wondering. I know, I was told yesterday people who went to Great Outdoors, they have to pay for water now. They get charged for a bottle of water. I don't know if it's true. I haven't been to the Great Outdoors. I also know that I've had to buy bottled water. I also know, I believe the school provides bottled water. And when we decide we're going to blame the aquifer for the problem of the water, and it's said in the public notice that it was because of flooding, and I recall the city manager saying he was claiming some grinder pumps with FEMA because of the flooding. I don't know why we're not claiming the need for public free water, or the city has not stepped up and put a water truck, free public water in the parking lot. 10 days, 11 days, a third of a month's bill, and people are not getting water that's drinkable. It's just a comment. And I've been asked that, and I can't answer that. That's your jobs to answer. So the quality and source, I'm sure there may be other people that ask. My concern is, if the city can provide you and your employees and everybody free water at their city expense, why can't they provide the taxpayers of High Springs free water at your expense, at our expense, because the water is not drinkable? We're going to get to an answer of this water. We won't get to an answer tonight. It'll be days, it'll be weeks, it'll be months, and we'll get an answer. But my comment's going to go to your expert who said we are not Flint. We are not Flint. And what happened in Flint is they took it from one river and then took it from another. The water source changed. Well, what I'm saying here is happening now is your aquifer has changed. So something's changed, and we really, really need to think about it. And finally, I'm going to the school board to ask them about if their water has been tested at the board meeting next week. Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else? Come up front.
Lita Carrero. My question is, I hope it's simple. As I understand it, we boil water to kill the bacteria. Is that the issue with the water, the bacteria, or is it sediment? Because boiling the water does not alleviate the sediment issue. And have you determined that the water is not potable? We can't drink it? It's not drinkable?
After all the comments, Rodney from the Water Department will answer your question.
I won't be here. Can I get an answer now?
No, ma'am, you can't.
Okay.
As soon as the public comment.
Excuse me. Why the hostility, sir? I'm not hostile to you. Why are you so hostile to me?
I wasn't hostile.
Yes, you were, and you know you were. You know you were.
Madam Mayor, let me jump in for just a second.
Yeah,
Okay.
Please do.
All right. The procedure is that all of the citizens have a right to speak for 5 minutes. It's typically not a question and answer format at this point. So you have your 5 minutes reserved, and you can feel free to use your 5 minutes. And then at some point this evening, some of the questions, if we're able to answer all the questions of the citizenry, we will
I totally
respond.
accept that, but I do not accept his hostility.
Ms. Carrera, the other item is that there may be some questions that come up that we're unable to answer,
Fine.
and we'll bring it up at another meeting or respond
Fine,
in
if
some
you
other
can't
way.
answer my question, you can't answer my question. I was hoping that you would, but you, sir, are out of line.
Yes.
Good evening. My name's Nancy Linkus. I live at 18976 Northwest 240th Street. I contacted Rodney, and he met with me at the water plant Monday, and he gave me a great education about what was happening and told me the problem is that they couldn't keep the free chlorine levels stable. If you have ever owned a swimming pool and you have had an influx of water from rain, keeping free chlorine stable is a very challenging thing, and I can't imagine what it's like in a water system. I've lived here for 18 years. It's flooded 3 times in 18 years. We have had a problem every single time it's flooded. The people on the other side of the river are having problems with their wells. They can't wash their laundry. Their water is brown, but nobody's testing that to see if there's bacteria. I do not believe that we tested positive for bacteria, or at least at the beginning of the week we had not. And I am grateful that you are testing the water for me so that I know that there might be a problem. Because if I lived on the other side of the river, nobody's looking at that, and I would have to pay for an independent person to come in and test my water. So it has been an inconvenience to me this week to have to deal with boiling or putting a few drops of bleach in it or buying a case of water. But I am very happy that we have the staff that we have who are monitoring it so carefully on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Dirk Hunt. I live over in Bailey Estates. I think one of the frustrations that we're having is a lack of information that we're being given, either through social networking or the city website itself. So most of us are scrambling to try to find information. And it's really frustrating when that's not available. So is there some way that, the progress of the water treatment and the water testing can be posted somewhere? I think that's something that would help ease the animosity that some of the people are feeling.
Right, post it out so everybody have access to it.
Thank you. Right. Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. No one else?
Good evening. My name's Adam Fritz, and I reside in Cinnamon Hills here in High Springs. And it's more or less the same kind of issue, just kind of touching on what we're going to do for the people that aren't as privileged as some of us that can't afford bottled water and galloned water, because my family and I obviously can. We're happy and we're thankful for it, but I do work with a lot of people from all walks of life that I know cannot. And I have a sample just like that in my car, a gallon that's way more yellow after an hour of rolling boil. It's a rolling boil of more than an hour, and it's almost piss yellow. And I'm like, I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and to bathe them in that, to brush their teeth with that, I again, blessed, I use gallon water to do that kind of stuff. But at the same point, that's not right for people that have the same thing with other kids that can't. And I just hope that, as this time goes on, that's thought of, because I have a personal water tester who's coming out tomorrow to test the water just over where our area is, which is in Cinnamon Hills. And I also have a lawyer friend of mine who's been talking to me, and he's like, they should be supplying water by now. And, just leaving it out there for you guys to consider for the people that can't. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Ron Leslie. I also live in Cinnamon Hills, and I moved to High Springs about 3 years ago. It's a very, very nice town, other than the water. And I have 3 kids in the house as well. And my request is, instead of going a week or so without an update, because the other day when my wife came in, she said, well, maybe it's clear now, but we haven't received an update. So really, a daily or every other day update would be very helpful. So thank you for making that change, if you will.
We'll have to look into seeing how we can handle that.
But you probably want to as soon as I bring Rodney up.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Clay Robertson, live in Bailey Estates. I think our main concern here is that Irma has really brought this issue to light, but it's something that's been in the bill, and the water bill rather, and has been mentioned several times over the past couple years. And it's a public utility. There's no competition for it, so it just makes us feel helpless. Thanks.
Okay.
Mary Lynch, Northwest 244th Street. I just need some advice on what we do with our refrigerator. My ice maker has not worked since the first sewer thing that happened. I forget the date that it happened. Anyway, we replaced the filter, which is like $50. Do we replace that every time that we go back on and water is drinkable? From the first time, the water line for the refrigerator, I'm thinking anyway, is that it's clogged somewhere. I'm not a millionaire, so we've just been using ice trays. The other thing is, our water does not look like that. My toilet bowl looks like somebody didn't flush. And that's the way, and then boiling the water, the sediment is unbelievable. And it's like, really? I'm cooking with this? Something has to be done. I don't know what, but thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Mike Sherrill. I live out in Cinnamon Hills. I've been a resident of High Springs now for 12 years. And to say that I've been happy with the water is an understatement. It is bad. From the day we moved into Cinnamon Hills to this day, we've not been able to drink it. The sediment has always been there. There are times whenever the water stinks so bad that we call down and they come out and they flush the lines out. I mean, it stinks. It smells worse than a rotten egg. And we're paying a premium price for this water. I think that we deserve better. I think that we deserve more information. I think that we deserve civil information from everyone concerning this. And I think that we need to resolve this issue. I would like for you guys, whenever the time comes, to comment to me on where other cities within this area are on boil water notices. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, anyone else?
Madam Mayor, this may be a good time to have Rodney come up and answer some of those questions.
Okay.
Come on up.
The floor is yours.
Mayor, Commissioners. Well, the last gentleman wanted to know the other cities. The only reason I was able to stay on top of it was the operator in the city of Alachua informed me of his water quality issues. They went through it for 3 weeks. Fortunately, we've been 9 days. I took the first set of samples yesterday, and they passed. As far as the aquifer goes, we don't monitor sinkholes outside the city limits. If there is a sinkhole and it has a chimney and we know that it goes straight to the aquifer, we get the county and other agencies involved in it. But as far as what you already got, those 2 bottles that are in front of you right there, that was today. The darker one is the raw water, and they are going to notice dark water. I mean, we got to get the wells cleared first. You know, the aquifers were, you know, they were compromised with the storm and the flood waters. You know, a sinkhole open up and it's nowhere, it's out in the middle of the woods where nobody sees it, and we just don't know. But we're not the only ones. There's 13, I think, that are, you know, they get sewage spills in their communities and from Irma, and this all stems from Irma. This happens every 10 years, but it's kind of upsetting to hear Cinnamon Hills because we go out there and we do flush. So, and a lot of times, too, the homeowners need to be aware of hot water heaters, too, when they get smelly water, too, you know, because we can go out to their meter. I'll pull their meter. Whoever has a complaint, I'll go out there and I will pull their meter. The water that's going into their house, they put different type of anodes, these sacrificial anodes, when you have dissimilar metals, and it's known that it does cause an odor issue. I had a gentleman out in River Glen. He gave me, I mean, he let me have it. He told me the water was terrible, and then I explained it. I went into his house, and he told me it was a new one. I said, yes, sir, it's the sacrificial anode. If you'd like to call and let them, they will tell you. And they did. They came out, and I was out flushing probably 3 weeks later. He came out, and he apologized. He said, you were right. It was the sacrificial anode. I'm not saying we are going to have an odor issue. There's organics in the water now, so it's, you know, I take complaints every day when they call, and I go and check. So we're trying to stay on top of it as best we can, but it's, you know, this is Mother Nature. We don't have any control of it. So, is there any more questions you have?
No, the bottom line is we're going to lift the boil water notice tomorrow morning.
Or tomorrow afternoon. If the results come back, I got the results back today. Mm-hmm. We had a positive hit for total coliform on both wells. That's an indicator. That's letting you know there's something there, plant or animal. So the health department, they test for fecal and E. coli, and it's absent. So the water is getting better day by day. Right. When I issued the boil water, the reason I issued the boil water notice was Scott Rome, the operator in Alachua, called me, and he noticed it first. They issued it, and what we do is when we can only go up, we can't go over a 4.00 parts per million leaving the plant. You can't go over that. And then we have to maintain a 0.20 parts per million in the distribution system. When he told me that, I was monitoring. I do different spots. All of a sudden it was there one day, the next day it wasn't. Anywhere I went, I didn't have a chlorine residual, so it was a precautionary measure. That's the free chlorine. Yes, that's the free chlorine. Yes, I'm sorry, it was free chlorine.
Can you repeat his question so that folks that are watching will...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I was just asking him to clarify, because he was mentioning concentration, but he didn't say what.
Yeah.
So I was making sure there was chlorine.
A lot of communities test for total chlorine, but in the state of Florida, we test for free chlorine. It's the total that we put out, and the free is what's left, you know, in case there is some type of, you know, bacteria or whatever. But the distribution come back, they were all absent of fecal and E. coli, and they had no, total coliform. So tomorrow, if we get the results back tomorrow, it's probably about 4:30 when I'll get the results, and then we'll put it online and do what we have to do. But
so it'll be later in the day.
Yes. And it was a precautionary. See, Alatra, when they did it, what we do is we'll go straight to the well and we'll pull, because now we know something. The chlorine's got a demand. It's working, but we're not putting enough in it, and we don't want to put too much where it's a health effect now. So it was precautionary. So they tested, and they had a hit for fecal. When it's a fecal, it's not a precautionary anymore. It's mandatory. So what I did was precautionary. If I can't maintain, that's a state rule,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You bet. Rodney's been working day and night. I know he calls me in the middle of the night, telling me what the chlorine residuals. We also have the University of Florida that has been assisting us. There's a professor over there that has been helping us, and we've gone out and touched DEP and our fellow water systems all around. So it's not that we're just sitting here waiting for it to happen. We're actually on top of it and trying to stay it, but it is Mother Nature. We can't change that.
All right, but you've got some of your answers.
I'd like anybody that wants to come out to the water plant, call me, and I'll walk you over and show you so they can get a better understanding. Because it is frustrating, but if they see it, I had Ms. Lincoln come out.
That's the guy from the University of Florida.
I don't know. Daily operation.
You need to say something.
In the future, we will put the results every day on the website so that people can actually see it. That's a lesson learned.
Good.
So the guy from
I wonder if I could ask how many, was this the first, have we only done one water sample test in the last 10 days? When you did yesterday?
Let me break in for a second. Again, when you're not at the microphone, it doesn't get on a record. Typically, you have one chance to present, so our chair has to decide if you can ask the question. So I think that's the appropriate thing.
Well, you kind of have an idea what my question is, Cole. Can I ask the question?
Go ahead.
Bob Barnes, have we only done the one test that he just referred to, that he's going to get the results back tomorrow by 4:30, or have we done any other tests that's precipitated this on October 3rd? So is that the only test we've done from the 3rd until yesterday?
He's going to answer.
Yes, sir. It is the only one I've done, because I wasn't maintaining a .20. So those tests are very, very expensive when I do them. So it's kind of senseless to take the test when I'm not maintaining the minimum of what they require. And then the fact that I'm pumping water out, and I've heard people complain that it's really dark, and I've worked tirelessly trying to clear the wells. All we can do is pump water, pump water, pump water. So what I do is we only have 2 well heads, and I'll shut one down, and then I have the other one pumping onto the ground. And that's the way we do it in the industry. We're trying to do the best we can as far as clearing the wells and the aquifer.
Thank you. And I just want to say, I've watched the water for several years, and I've watched your results. Adding the amount of chlorine that would have probably been necessary to dissipate the color would have added, my opinion, my unprofessional opinion, would have added a problem to you to increase your TTHMs and your HAA5s. Because if you had to over-chlorinate, that creates another problem.
Not necessarily. There's a lot of factors that create the THMs and HA5s. I'm not disputing what you're saying. It could create that problem if you don't have a proper flushing plan and
exactly.
But it's not the sole reason that causes THMs and HA5s.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'm going to close this section of citizens' requests, and we're going to move on to item number 1 under new business. which is consider awarding bids for Suwannee River Water Management District grant projects.
Madam Mayor, I was here when we accepted the grant, especially for Camp Kalakwa, and we're recommending the company with the low bid. I was going to say, no, not sand and gravel. It is
Florida Phil.
Florida Fill and Grade.
Florida Fill and Grade.
That is. They are the low bid. They have the experience. The attorneys has looked at it. Tim Norman or our engineers that are here right now have also looked at it, and that's our recommendation, is that we take the low bid.
Okay.
Just a quick question. Mr. Norman, any questions on that? We're good?
Back there?
Yes.
Greg Lang with the engineering firm, Midtown Associates. No, your city manager said it exactly right. We're recommending award of these two projects to the low bidder.
Okay, thank you.
And it is on budget.
Under budget as well. Thank you. Okay. Go ahead.
We need to do the second one, the septic tank.
Septic tank abatement.
Again.
Do we need to make a motion to go ahead and do A?
Why don't we do A first?
A first?
I'll make a motion to award the bid for Camp Kalakwa pump station to, I want to say Florida Gravel and Sand now. So
Florida Fill and Grade.
Florida Fill and Grade.
Fill and Grade.
Second.
All right, it has been properly moved and second that Florida Fill and Grade be awarded the bids for Suwannee River Water Management District for Camp Kalakwa. All those in favor respond by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed respond nay. Motion carries 5-0. All right, and we have Part B, which is septic tank abatement. We must do the same.
Madam Mayor, this is actually 13 grinder pumps. This pretty much finishes up our grinder pump system out there, and from now on they will all be gravity fed. This is slightly over budget that we got a grant for, but we have impact fees. Instead of taking one off and making it 12, really think it should be 13 so we can finish up the system. I know in one subdivision there's probably one more person and we will deal with that.
Okay. Very good.
Our recommendation is that we accept the fill and grade. I think I've written it down. As they are the low bidder. They also put in the majority of the grinder pumps in this city.
In the city.
They have a good history about it.
All right. So we need a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the bid from Florida Fill and Grade for the septic tank abatement project.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second that Florida Fill and Grade be awarded the bid contract for septic tank abatement. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed respond with nay.
Quick question, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
The issue that was brought up earlier about the hole in the ground, this is going to be covered in this.
It will be.
Okay. I just
Because the one company that is going to head and crush most of them will turn around and crush that. We'll just put an add-on.
Right. I just want to make sure that that was a question was out, that people understand the issue is being taken care of.
It is.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries 5-0.
I'll let you take care of number 2.
All right, our next item is number 2. Consider approval of contracts for magistrate services with Norm
Fugate.
What did I say?
Norm Fugate is an attorney down in Williston, Madam Mayor, Fugate Law Firm. He and his son work down there together. And then Alan Kay is also an attorney with governmental experience. There's proposed contracts. The contracts are the same, and each one of the individuals will be working at a rate of $200 per hour. Their job begins as soon as the complaint form hits the hearing stage, and then when they issue their order, then their work is done. So that's the way the contract reads. This is a 2-year contract. If I didn't say it's $200 an hour, straightforward language in the contractual provision. Madam Mayor, this is also in line with, we've had a number of citizens that have come at citizen meeting time and stated that they desire help with code enforcement throughout the city. So this is part and parcel of management's efforts to have a viable working decision maker that will decide if there is in fact a violation of codes, and so this is part and parcel of answering those issues that have been brought up by citizens in the past, and it has taken us a little while to get here, but we had to let it out for bid and got the bids in from both of these two law firms, and both of which are well qualified to act as hearing officer for code enforcement matters. So it is coming to fruition now that we're getting this done, and the appropriate motion would be to accept and authorize the appropriate city officials, including our mayor, to enter into contracts between Mr. Kay and Mr. Fugit. And then we plan to alternate each one of those individuals as code enforcement matters come up, or if one's unable to do it, then the other one will be. That's right.
Okay, so you'd like a motion?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Any questions?
No, I'll just make the motion on what he said, because that was a long
That was a long one.
You took the words out of my mouth, Scott.
That was a lot of words, so we'll go back to the minutes and make sure we got it written down.
Second.
We get paid by the word.
That's what scares me.
All right. It has been properly moved and second that the contract for magistrate services with Mr. Fugate and Mr. Kay be approved. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed is nay. Okay.
Just one comment. We do have a number of cases that are waiting. We expect to hold the magistrate every month for a while. Some of them are even businesses that have been on the books for years, so we'll be busy.
So this is going to, when will they actually start? When the contract is signed? So I mean, the people out there, I'm just saying, so when does it start? He signs the contract, boom, we're rock and rolling?
They're on call, essentially.
I got it, but I mean, they haven't signed the contract yet.
Correct.
Once they sign the contract, they're on, and then it's basically we send them the cases, and we're rolling?
Right. That's right.
So we should see action here
So
pretty quickly.
The first step is that we have the code enforcement official will see if there is a violation. We'll send out a notice to the property owner and the tenant of the property, if there's a tenant.
Okay.
And probably, Commissioner Jameson, 90% of your problems will be resolved at that level, at that stage. It's the ones that just will not cure in 30 days, and that's where that matter will be brought before the code enforcement officer, and then the code enforcement official will file the complaint, and it will be brought to the hearing officer.
I'm not trying to belabor the point, but this is something that's been out there and people have done it. I just want to make sure it's progressing. This is what people don't like about government, is it takes so long. So I just want to make sure the process doesn't, that's all. I just want to make sure we're progressing to where they're seeing results. That they're, you know what I'm saying? So that's all.
Right. There are some zoning issues also that will come before the board.
All right. Thank you.
And Courtney is suggesting that we do one contract and then the second contract. So if you could modify, is that your note on that, or was that the previous one for the bid?
That look says no.
Okay. Go with it.
That's right.
Oh, that was the previous.
Okay.
Sure.
Sorry.
All right. Gotcha.
It came back.
Too many contracts. That's the problem.
Not a problem. All right, we voted, right? Did we not? Yeah, we did. Okay.
Just put it down as a yes either way.
All right. So motion carries 5-0. All right, moving on. Item number 3. Establish alternate dates for the November and December City Commission meetings to avoid conflict with the holidays.
November 16th. Isn't that when we're having the required ethics training?
Yes, it is.
That's a long day.
Oh, man, we got overtime.
Yeah, that's a full day. Yeah, with you.
That's why it's a long day.
Maybe we ought to have dinner instead of lunch.
Okay, so what?
Okay.
So it's the 16th and the 28th?
The 16th and the 28th.
Just point.
For November.
28th of November and the December meeting just don't work in my schedule. Are you sure? I don't want to miss it.
So I make a motion, we adopt the new calendar. Is that simple enough?
Before you do, we also need to note that December's meeting will be on the 14th.
It'd just be the one meeting. Just one meeting.
Yes, just one for December.
Right. Okay.
Okay, no CRA meeting. Okay. Now we can entertain the motion.
I'll just make a motion that we adopt the amended calendar dates for November and December.
Second.
All right, it's been properly moved in second that our calendar be modified to change our meeting dates for November to the 16th and the 28th, and for December, the meeting will be on the 14th. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries 5-0.
Question.
Yes.
Jenny?
Yes.
Will this go on, I know it'll go on the calendar, but is there something to put on the face that people won't go to the calendar, that they'll see the change? Okay.
Okay. Item number 4. Discuss and consider alternate priority options for wild spaces, public places projects.
Madam Mayor, we were looking at doing the High Springs Natural Park. The appraiser appraised the 8 acres we wanted to purchase at $84,000. The owner of the property wanted to sell 15 acres at a rate of $350,000. I have talked to the county, and they agreed to that amount of money was well over their policy and ourselves. Therefore, they are allowing me to change projects, and I have 2 in front of you that I would like you to consider. The first one is $700,000 go towards the rails to trails. This would probably pave that portion in our city. But I have to give you a caveat. I'm not sure exactly when it will be purchased in clear title for us to be able to do this. And I have till next summer to accomplish this grant. And the other caveat is that the Department of Transportation has agreed that they're going to pave it, and they agreed to that about 4 years ago, so we would hold them to the fire. The other project is a park enhancement, and this came through your park director, and what he wants to do is put lights on the Civic Center park. We want to put a playground in the daycare center because that is really, it shouldn't be there. We're going to put a bathroom in the Civic Center park. That's not the Civic Center itself. We want to buy land next to the Memorial Park. They're probably about 5 acres. It comes to about $200,000. Bleachers for all the parks. Because right now, they just stand around and watch, and so we have bleachers where we've upgraded our parks quite a bit. We want to upgrade the Civic Center, and there's a caveat down there below, but 100,000 would probably take us for the next 7 years, and then 75,000 to complete all the playgrounds that are around, to put some handicap accessible things on them. I recommend also that we hold the Wild Spaces money for 5 years and then go ahead and do a multi-use civic center.
Say that again?
So that's the third option?
No, that's just my recommendation is after you've done all this, because option 1 and 2 are the two options. And then I'm just saying that it's going to be my recommendation that we hold the money for 5 years, not this money.
Yeah, okay.
We hold any continuing money for 5 years, which will be enough to build a multi-use civic center.
Okay.
So, what would you?
In 5 years, we'll have accumulated about $1.5 million.
So, but for us land to build that type of building, what were you thinking about trying to build something like that?
Well, that's the next step. One, you have to have the money first, and then we could actually put it on the 5 acres that I recommend we buy.
Around Memorial?
Yeah, down in Memorial. I mean, that's an option.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So I want to make sure on this one here, because you got the 700,000, we're getting a little over $300,000 from the Wild Spaces. So the grant from the county is the other 350, correct?
That is correct.
And so they're in agreement that if we change this, they were going to give us the 350 to do the Wild Springs.
Yes,
but
sir.
They will still commit to 350 along with ours.
That is correct.
That's where the 700 comes from.
You bet.
Okay.
And I can say that with new management at the county, they seem to be more receptive to our wishes.
Very good.
Well, I mean, I'll go ahead. I like the park enhancement.
I do too.
For me personally, I like it. I think we need to do that. You see an immediate upgrade, it'd be done.
Yeah.
I do think buying the property next to Memorial Park is something we talked about a couple years ago. They're not making any more, so I think that would be advantageous for us to get. And I do think it's an opportunity for us to upgrade, put in the appropriate type of poles. I know Robert's talked about some type of electronic or so forth type of deal with the lights, so you'd have better control over the lights. So I would be all in favor of the park enhancement.
I too would be in favor.
You need a motion or just some
A
direction?
motion would be good, because I have to turn around and then give it to the attorneys and to work with the county to come up with an agreement.
I make a motion to pursue the park enhancement project.
Second.
Okay. It's been properly moved in second that the park enhancement items be completed. All those in favor, aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
You'll see the recommendation for the 5 years at next year's budget.
Right, okay, I was going to ask when that was going to...
Okay, next year's budget.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, motion carries 5-0. Our next item is item number 5, which is consider approval of a mutual aid agreement with the City of Gainesville and its police department to provide operational assistance in providing security for a specific event that's to be held on October 19th.
Chief.
Madam Mayor, this is the event involving Mr. Spencer on the 19th, and they've asked for additional resources from throughout the state, so we want to make sure we do our due diligence to do as much as we can to help out in that situation or that event.
Okay.
Where does the pay come for our officers? Who pays for that?
We get reimbursed by the University of Florida.
Okay. And so that would be those who are off would go, or is that?
No,
Let me just say this: it would not drain our officers from here to do the job.
No, sir. We're going to allocate 2 officers to assist. They are on duty.
Yes, I just want to make sure so people understand we're not taking our officers so where they won't be patrolling here.
Absolutely not.
Right, that's also. And the University of Florida would be paying, so there's no
No adverse impact to the city.
Okay, motion please.
Make a motion to approve the mutual aid agreement with the City of Gainesville and High Springs for the event on October 19th.
Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second that the mutual aid agreement be approved between the City of Gainesville Police Department and our police department. All those in favor, aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposing, nay. Motion carried 5-0. All right, that's our last item under new business. So at this time, we will ask for the city attorney's report.
None, Madam Mayor.
No.
You had none last time. Okay. All right, we are really looking at the boil water notice. This has been somewhat of a tumultuous issue. I don't know why they could do it in Alachua and it wasn't so tumultuous, but it seemed to be here. Anyway, hopefully that'll get taken off, but we are looking at the water on an hourly basis. They had a meeting with the DEP, Swanee River, Mid-Tower, and myself over in Swanee River Water Management District. And so we came up with when the projects are going to be done. And you've already decided that the Camp Kalakwa project will be done now. And that's very important because DEP is concerned about Camp Kalakwa, and so we're going to put that into effect probably next week or the week after because the company is looking forward to starting right away. The 13 grinder pumps will also be a now project, and we'll start that very soon. The lady with the problem in the back, that'll be taken care of very soon. The $3.5 million sewer line project, we're looking for about February 2018 to go out for bids for that project. And that will be at least a 2-year project because it's a significant change. That will also bring us into self-sufficiency with our sewer. The $1.7 million wetlands project, which is really a series of ponds, and we'll take away our spray fields, and we put a series of about 3 ponds where it goes from one pond to another pond, and we'll also have vegetation that takes out the nitrates. What it will cause, though, at the end of when we get it all built, is to hire an individual that specifically takes the water and drains it to the next pond, and then the next pond then cuts the grass. It will take a full-time individual to do that, but by that time we'll have the funds certainly coming in to take care of it. The only slowdown is that it's going to mirror the project in Lake City but on a smaller scale, and they're having a few nuances with that they have to work out. So I really look for that project probably in the summer of next year to get going. It'll have very little to do with the sewer operation. It's just the end product. Then I'm looking for in the summertime to apply for a grant of about $3 million, looking at about $1 million of our own also going into it from the impact fees, because that is specifically what the impact fees are for. And so we look to increase the size of our sewer plant by 150%. That should take us to the next 15 to 20 years. And that really puts our sewer system in there. And then what I would like to see done is with the impact fees is turn around and put the majority of the impact fees in the water and the smaller amount in the sewer, because then we have a lot of work to do on the water, or somebody still does. And like I said, we should be self-sufficient. I had the tax collector up here, Mr. Powers, and Mr. Powers really wanted to congratulate the work they're doing downstairs. He says that it is the best plates in operation that he has throughout the system. It may be in this part of the state. So he would like to get us more money, and it's going to go to the legislature to do that. What he did also say is they have changed their policy about foreclosures. In the past, they have let homes go for 7 years or more, before they foreclose on them. He has a very tight, specific 2 years. And they're going to start flowing houses and property to us. And some of those have already been on code enforcement. And so that's going to be, we're going to go into the real estate business. I don't know if we declared it as surplus, but I do have an appraisal on the home of the lady over here, and we will put that out for sale. We're not going to bid houses or property anymore because it hasn't been very successful, and that's all I have.
Okay. Moving right along. Commissioner Jones.
I read a very interesting piece in the Observer, the October Observer. I don't know his last name for sure. Ron Trigar?
Yes.
Wrote a very interesting piece on the water. Wrote it in layman's terms so that most anyone could understand it. If you've not had an opportunity to read this in the October, in fact, downstairs, there's still lots of copies of the Observer. It's a very interesting piece that you should read. That's it.
Okay.
I greatly appreciate you all being here tonight, and for the citizens who came and talked. That's what makes democracy and so forth the whole business. So I want to make sure that doesn't go unsaid. I appreciate you coming here and voicing your opinions. We need to hear, so I thank you for that. Beyond that, most of what we talked about, Mr. Booth got on. I'm extremely excited about the sewer. For those of you who aren't here that often, that's sort of been my thing since I got on a while back because I'm on the sewer. And so I'm very pleased to hear about it. And then the capacity, that was what we were talking about, to enlarge the capacity so we'll be able to do it. So I'm very pleased to hear that. Thank you.
Mr. Williams.
Yes. Again, also, I want to thank y'all for coming out on tonight because it's so important for us to hear from the citizens. We don't hear from you guys. We don't know what's going on with it. So please don't make this the only night that you come. Please come out. Voice your opinions. We'd like to hear them, and we can take further action. And also, Jenny, Rodney, Mr. Booth, please, some kind of way, let's keep our citizens updated on what's going on with the water and other concerns that's going on in the city of High Spring. I know we don't have a newspaper at this time, but with today's media and social whatever, it's a way to get people informed of what's going on in the city, because I think that's so important. People know what's going on, and then they can hear the truth and hear the facts instead of hearing, I'm going to say rumors, I'm putting it nicely, hearing rumors. So please, let's work hard on that with our communication with our citizens. And also, with the debris, where we are.
Where we are at the debris, and I have two projects that's going to help out with that. The first one is going through the county, and the attorneys are writing up the contracts. That may take a while. I also have an offer to provide laborers from FEMA, and it's part of their employment because of the hurricane project to put people back to work, and we've asked for 10 people. If we get those people, or whatever number there is, then I will put David in a truck and we'll pick up all the debris. Even Gainesville is taking months, so it just takes a while. But with 10 people, I can probably go through in 30 days and get everybody cleaned up. But it has to be in the front of the house. We can't go back, or we can't go on people's property. They have to bring the trees and cut them up so that people can handle them and put them on the truck. So we're sort of like the water. We are certainly on top of it, but it's a bureaucracy and it takes a while.
Okay. Yeah, because I seen an old lady today. She's out there trying to burn.
I know.
Debris, and I thought that was very dangerous. So, okay.
Well, I guess I would echo just to do on this one here. So when we find that out,
we'll put it right on the web.
Okay.
Okay. That's it. Okay, Commissioner James.
Jameson?
I'm sorry.
You're on the way.
Yeah.
You're on the way out. No need to remember your name. Who cares?
Well, I just want to say a couple of
I haven't
things.
seen you in so long.
Well, I'm sorry.
It's true.
It seemed like everybody at the funeral home was getting sick and couldn't come to work, so I had to fill in. So I'm sorry. Just want to mention, I know the boil water is a pain. It's hard to boil the water, buy bottled water, and everything else. I mean, everybody's affected by it. But we do have city staff. I would like to thank Rodney and the rest of the staff that's been working diligently on this. It's not like we're just sitting back waiting for things to change. I know they daily are working on it and trying to get it improved. It was a hurt, even though our area of Florida was not catastrophically affected by the hurricane, between the debris and the excess water that we got, those are our effects. We're dealing with them. I know that Columbia County is having issues, and I know other municipalities are having issues. We're trying to deal with it as diligently as we can, but sometimes it just happens. And as far as the other water and sewer issues that we've been having, again, our city staff has been working really hard to fix those issues. It's not just something you can wave a wand and say, all right, we'll do this and everything's great. You have to take this project with a city our size and work on it a little at a time. Right now we can fix the sewer in this area. Then we can do this Camp Kalakwa project. And then we'll expand our capacity. That'll allow us to do more water projects, which we have done water projects this year. We've replaced a whole section of town with new water pipes that badly needed done. So it's not like the city's just resting back saying, yeah, pay us some money, we're not doing anything. We are involved. We're trying to do as best we can, and we're trying to do it as timely as we can. But on the other hand, we do know that it is a very big headache, and we do know that it is something that is affecting many people. And then other than that, since my time is coming short, I would like to say that I've enjoyed working with all of y'all, some longer than others, but I've enjoyed working with all y'all. I do honestly believe that all the commissioners up here are here because they want to do what they think is best for the city of High Springs. They're not here to gain recognition. They're not here for their own purposes. They are here because they want to serve, and I do commend them. I appreciate being up here. I am going to make it to the reorganization meeting and probably have a few more comments there, but just in case something were to happen, I do want to honestly say that I appreciate working with y'all, and I also appreciate the time I spent working with all the city staff. Y'all, I think we do have, by and large, one of the best city staffs that I know of. Everybody wants to do well. Everybody wants the cities to succeed. Everybody from the ladies working downstairs in the tag agency all the way up to the city manager. So I do want to thank y'all as well. And at that, I will be quiet and turn it over to you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Well, I would just like to say thanks to you for coming out and spending time with us this evening and expressing your feelings on the different issues that we're dealing with. We feel your pain. We know what you're going through because we're going through it too. We all live here in High Springs together. So we are working to do the best that we can to resolve all of these issues. So bear with us a little bit, and we'll try to communicate with you a bit more so that you will be up to date and you will know what we know. So I thank you for coming out and doing that. And staff, for all that you do, I thank you as well, because we couldn't get any of these things done without you. You're out there day and night doing whatever is required to solve whatever issue you're dealing with, and I appreciate that. A couple of meetings back, I mentioned that I had received a little document from a lady regarding the police department and their performance during the hurricane, the way you directed traffic and every other thing. And I promised to bring it, and I forgot it the last meeting, but I brought it tonight. And it's real short, but it says, Mayor James, my husband and I are headed to Texas from Fort Pierce and had the pleasure of driving through your town. We wanted to extend our gratitude for how organized your law enforcement officers handle the flow of traffic, as well as the traffic utilizing the gas stations. I wish the other towns located on Highway 27 had the foresight your town did at getting ahead of any traffic issues. Not to mention, your town is a very beautiful one. And we pray that the hurricane does not harm your town or any of your people. And they signed it. So with that, I'm going to pass it along to the chief.
Fantastic.
I thought it was really nice when I got that.
Yeah.
Good job, Chief.
From people about it now.
You earned it. You earned it.
Team effort, team effort.
Team effort, that's right. All right, with that, I'll entertain the motion if we're done.
So moved.
So moved, meeting adjourned.